Mr. President, I am wondering whether the senator from Kentucky would be good enough to confirm for me where I think the issue is that is before the Senate today. So if I might, I will speak for a few minutes about what I think is the core issue before us on the floor, and then ask the senator whether he would confirm that this is his understanding as well. Because just at the outset, I'll say it's relatively rare for my colleague from Kentucky and I to come to the floor in agreement on an issue, but it has happened before on exactly this issue. And I think it's important that it be clear to folks that there are concerns on both sides of the aisle on the critical underlying issues about how we balance privacy and liberty, security and our civil liberties. For a decade, nearly a decade, our government's operated a program that collects massive amounts of information from innocent Americans without any specific suspicion they've done anything wrong. And let me put that another way. For years, any American's communications data could have been tracked and collected by the government, whether or not they were suspected of a crime. That program's been carried out under Section 215 of the Patriot Act based on flimsy or mistaken interpretations of the original law, all in the name of our national security. Yet the bulk collection program has had disputed and not arguably clear benefit to our national security. There's not one clear publicly confirmed instance of a plot being foiled because of this Section 215 program. I've long been concerned about the scope and the reach of our intelligence community's bulk collection program. That's why in 2011 I voted, along with my colleague from Kentucky, against the straight reauthorization of the Patriot Act. I believed then, as I believe now, it would be irresponsible for Congress to continue reauthorizing the law without taking steps to address concerns about unlawful surveillance it has allowed, particularly given the fact that earlier this month, a U.S. federal circuit court specifically deemed this program illegal. Fortunately, we have an alternative, which I believe the senator from Kentucky has been expounding on behalf of, the USA Freedom Act, a bipartisan bill passed by the House just last week by an overwhelming margin. I think it was 338 to 88. It would end bulk collection by only allowing the federal government to seek call records retained by the telecommunications industry once it has established the record is relevant to an ongoing investigation. Records would no longer be stored by the government, but remain in the hands of telecommunications companies, which, under FCC rules, in order to ensure that there are customer access to records in the case of disputes, are retained for 18 months. This bill strikes an important balance by protecting America's privacy and ensuring our government can still keep our nation safe. In fact, there are some who might argue that the USA Freedom Act would allow a stronger, more robust, and more effective series of actions to keep our nation safe. I urge my colleagues to support it. I know these are difficult decisions for us to make, and I know we all have concern about our nation's security, but we have to all have concerns about our nation's freedom. We fought for it from the very beginning of our country, and I want to just thank and salute members here, colleagues, and in particular my colleague from Kentucky, for being insistent that we have clarity about time. We were told 4 years ago, when the reauthorization fight was happening, that time had run out and that we needed to reauthorize it without considering needed reforms that were discussed and debated in the Judiciary Committee. 2 years ago, some of the core elements of this were exposed to the world, and a lot of my constituents raised legitimate and serious concerns about it. Whether we are being asked to extend it for 2 weeks or 2 days or 2 hours, I think time has run out for us to even discuss reauthorizing a program that has explicitly been held illegal, and we instead need to come together, take up, and pass the USA Freedom Act. Would my colleague from Kentucky confirm that that is the situation on the floor at the moment, and on behalf of which you've been speaking?
I think what is still unclear to me is what will be taken up and what votes there will be on this. I think that the debate is a really important one. It's one that we should engage in and have a significant time to talk about, that there should be amendments offered. And as you know, sometimes the amendments get offered and then things sort of fall away. And I want to ensure that on something this important that comes up only once every 3 years, to which the court just below the Supreme Court has said that we're doing something illegally, that we don't just gloss over and just say, oh, we're going to keep on doing something that the courts have said is illegal. As far as the end result of where it comes, I want to end bulk collection, so I agree with all of the people on the USA Freedom side. I'm a little concerned that we might be transferring government bulk collection for privately held bulk collection. In the selector terms that they use in the USA Freedom Act, it says person, it says specific person, and I think it defines person, though it's still including corporation. My concern is that you could write into the specific person Verizon again, and we're back where we started. So if we could get to a point of one, allowing some amendments to be voted on, and maybe changing it such that you can't have, see, to me the biggest issue here is a general versus a specific warrant. I don't want warrants that you can get everybody's records all at once, or even one company's. I want the warrant to say, and I'm fine with getting terrorists. I want to get terrorists. If it's John Doe's a potential terrorist, put his name on it. You can go as deep as you want into the phone records, but do specific warrants. But I don't like it if you just say, I want everybody's records from a phone company. And so I'm just concerned, are we trading one bulk collection for another form? And I need to be a little more reassured on that. I think there might be room for it if people are open to discussion on how we could figure out a way to get something through, because it's going to be difficult, as you know, to get to 60. It's going to be hard either way. The other side, once they want the bulk collection. Many people want the bulk collection. They want more of it. And then there's at least half of us that think it's a wrong thing to do. I don't know the end outcome, but I was uncertain enough about the outcome that I came today to try to draw attention to it. And if I had a request today, it would be for both leaderships is to let amendments to go forward, that we agree on having a pretty free amendment process. This is only every 3 years, and it's a big deal. We don't have many legislation come before us where an activity has been said to be illegal by an appellate court, and we continue to do it, and then people want to advocate to continue to do something that's illegal. But I'm going to try to see what I can get. I'm hoping to get an answer maybe today from leadership on will they allow amendments to this. And I want to be pretty certain that's going to happen because they seem to fall away sometimes.